All right, welcome back to the Reverse Mush podcast. Harry Mack here, as always, and finally, a long-awaited return.
Fuck off.
A long-awaited return of the Bullet. Ross, how are we, buddy? I feel like it's been many, many moons.
It's been a little while. Not much has changed. Still sitting here with a gross beard, drinking beer, watching fights, and
on the casting couch
and doing the thing. So,
there
hope
you
to be
go.
back. This should be a little fun little episode here. So
absolutely, we got a fun one for you guys today. So we're gonna be doing our a little bit late, just a little bit late, but that's kind of how we do things. So whatever. But we are gonna be doing our 2021 year end awards, friends. We definitely got some good stuff for you guys. So I hope everyone's strapped in. But yeah, aside from that, it's a big year. It's gonna be a big year for the Reverse Mush Pod. We're back with a fucking vengeance, man. We're hitting the ground running. It's content season.
And some people are saying that this is really the only award show that matters.
That's right.
The awards are us just saying it. Fighters, I know you're all listening. You're not getting anything, but it's fine. You're gonna get the award.
Exactly. That's
feather
what really
in the fucking
matters.
cap. Feather
right.
in the cap.
Recognition from two dunces. That's what's very important to everybody.
All that matters.
But all right, I think we start our debut, our inaugural awards program with the debut of the year. Why not?
It's debut with the debut.
Yeah, so I decided to break it up by promotion, have a little fun with it. Why not? But I guess I'll start with Bellator. We'll get Bellator out of the way. But
I don't hate that.
It's gotta be friend of the program, Big Tuna Ben Parrish. Has to be.
I have no arguments here. The guy came in, upset the promotion, upset the bookmakers, and came out with a flashy knockout. And his fucking nickname is Big Tuna. So
that's right.
He's got my vote.
Plus 750 underdog, ranked opponent. Bellator kind of, they brought him in to be a guy to just feed another prospect. And
Bellator way.
Yeah, and it did not go according to plan. Big Tuna came in there, fucking absolutely starched Christian Edwards. I'm pausing because I have to make sure I got the name right now because I'm a fucking idiot. My brain is failing me.
Sorry.
Yes, Christian Edwards. Good. Smart. Good. Came in there, throws a clean 1-2 right down the pipe, knocks this kid's fucking block off, cuts a hell of a promo, instant fan favorite. And he's back. He's coming up January 29th. Got a fight against a 2-0 Ryan Bader protege. And the bookmakers did not learn their lesson because he is plus 175. So I'm locking that one in already.
And I will say, I hope I don't get any slack for this because I totally agree with the message he was saying. But after he won, just the big dude from the South just walking into the camera and just saying, "Don't bully." I couldn't help but crack up.
Oh, it was tremendous.
Love the message. It was just fucking hysterical.
He's a character, to say the least. Big Tuna is absolutely a character.
But I know we both had some honorable mentions. Hannah Guy beating our princess Valerie Loretta.
That's right.
Massive upset.
Big Tuna teammate, FRM first round management, Matt Weibel out there, another one of his clients. Eventually, Bellator is just going to stop bringing in his clients to face prospects, clearly, because it hasn't gone great for them. But yeah, Hannah Guy comes in. Obviously, Valerie Loretta, promotional sweetheart, so the apple of Scotty Coker's eye, and yeah, Hannah just out wrestled her for 3 rounds pretty clearly.
Not a fun fight to watch, but a great debut and a massive upset. So
exactly. So
nothing. Can't fault Hannah Guy for that. Yeah, exactly.
No, my other honorable mention was Islam Mamedov. Kind of a pretty gross fight, but came in there and just wrestle fucked Brent Primus. So we love to see Russian guys with names like Av and Ely and all of that stuff coming in and doing some wrestling.
Doing the wrestling.
Also beat Brent Primus and is still ranked 4 spots below him. So someone should probably figure that one out.
Well, yeah, dude, the rankings always make sense.
That's right. Absolutely.
I know that.
Absolutely. In the PFL, I think the obvious, the no-brainer choice feels like Clarissa Shields, right?
I mean, I'm looking at what we got here. For me, it has to be. Just because it's such a, crazy
it was a
thing that
draw.
doesn't. And then not just that, it's something that doesn't happen like ever.
Right.
When a
Right. Like
boxer
you
comes into MMA, you see it the other way around. You see the big money fights, but you never see a boxer at heart, always been a
right,
boxer,
and
come
especially
in.
not at Clarissa's level. You know what I
And
mean?
yet,
Like
I mean, it wasn't looking great when she was on her back, but
throwing punches when you're mounted is a very funny
yeah,
strategy.
it wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but she was able to get her shots off when she needed to, and that's all she needs with hands like that, and she got the finish.
She did,
And then
man.
she even showed. I know we're not talking about their second fights, but in her second fight, she learned how to sprawl. So
Yeah,
sky could be the limit for her.
you're definitely not wrong. And listen, like Brittany Elkin, yes, she had an upside down MMA record, totally. But like Clarissa still went in there with a Lovato Junior brown belt and beat her. So that definitely like that's fucking impressive. No matter what, like that is
Agreed.
an impressive feat. And yeah, I feel like that was something that genuinely like Clarissa Shields' MMA career captures the attention of like the casual MMA fan who like might not pay attention to PFL really.
If I remember correctly, though, they fumbled it pretty hard because I think she didn't fight till like it was like a Wednesday night at 12:30 when she finally fought. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Like
The pacing wasn't great. That's something that needs to improve.
I remember thinking to myself like, all right, I'm gonna stay up and I'm gonna watch it, but it's getting fucking late and I
Yup.
gotta work tomorrow.
Yup.
But
And,
hey, she wins the Mush Award.
yeah.
Congrats, Clarissa. If you ever
you
want to
won. You
hop
won
on,
the.
just let us know.
Yeah, I will approach Clarissa at the next PFL event that I am at, and I will offer her a mushy, which will be I don't know what will the physical manifestation of our trophy be?
I think it's just gonna be a Photoshop picture of her holding a trophy that says Mushy. That's it.
That works. That works. I
That's
can't fault that.
those are the awards.
Honorable
I'll
mentions
sign
for
it.
the PFL. Yeah, we'll sign it, of course. Honorable mentions for the PFL. Brendan Loughnane, generally regarded as probably the worst contender series snub in the history of the show. Came out against UFC veteran Shaman Marias, a scrappy guy, a smart guy who won a bunch more fights over the rest of PFL season. And I mean, Brendan just fucking starched him. He arrived in style for a guy who was not signed to the UFC because he doesn't have the finishing instinct to come out like that with your promotional debut for PFL and absolutely starch a respectable opponent is that earns you an honorable mention.
I agree. And oh wait, yeah, never mind. I almost just forget about it.
Fair enough.
Keep going.
Fair enough.
I was just transitioned into a UFC fighter that I was. Yeah, we're not even talking about the UFC yet. So
fair. And then I threw Don Madge in there, also a very impressive RNC over Nasty Nate Williams. But yeah, I'm excited to see where PFL goes next year. A lot of their big free agent acquisitions this past year kind of didn't really work out. Like if I told you at the beginning of last year that neither Fabricio Verdum or Anthony Pettis would be on the newcomers list for them, you probably would have told me I was an idiot.
It definitely didn't go as they planned it.
No,
that's the fight game.
No, although that Verdum first fight was interesting, at least. What the fuck?
I've never seen anything like that.
He tapped, he didn't tap. He got
Fully
the triangle. He probably tapped. But Hanan's a fuking monster, bro. That guy is terrifying. That is a terrifying human being.
Not taken away from that, but he tapped.
No, no, that's fair. He tapped. He tapped. All right, now what I know you lot are actually waiting for the UFC. So this one was tough for me because there were a lot of really fucking good debuts this year. But at the end of the day, I think when you consider circumstance, anticipation, quality of opponent, it has to be Michael Chandler. Has to be coming in, starching Dan Hooker, a tough fucking fight. A guy who does not, Hooker went the distance with Poirier. Not a guy who gets finished a lot. A high level striker. Questions about where does Chandler fit into the division after his Bellator run. He was kind of one of those guys outside of the UFC that people have been clamoring to see in the UFC for, a long time now. And to come in and do it in such decisive, quick fashion, it's got to be.
Yeah, no, I got no problems with that. The only part of me that wants to give it to a Patty or a Chris Curtis is just because Chandler's been fighting at a championship. I mean, I know Patty has 2 in Cage Warriors, but like Bellator, I mean, it's supposed to be neck and
Right.
neck with the UFC.
Right.
And he's been at the top of their rankings for years now.
Yeah.
So it
And I
almost
mean,
just
he's
felt like
got.
it almost.
Oh
Well, I
my
was just
bad.
gonna say
Yeah.
I was just gonna say to me, like it was a UFC debut, so it's the debut of the year. But it's just like he just doesn't feel like a debut fighter,
Right. Like it's
especially
very
when you're
funny.
coming in fighting Hooker.
Right. It's very funny when you see like the rookie cards, and there's rookie cards for Patty and Michael Chandler, who are just at like two wildly
Exactly.
different stages of their career. Like Chandler was,
Exactly.
not Patty was also a high profile free agent. I think a lot of people who pay attention to the sport closely, he was one of those prospects that people wanted to see for a long time. But I mean, people have been talking about seeing Michael Chandler in the UFC since like the Eddie Alvarez fight way back in the day, since like the old Pitbull fights,
Yeah.
like. Yeah, so I get that. Definitely a different
Doesn't.
level.
It feels different. Yeah, exactly. It feels like they should almost be in different categories, but at the end of the day, debut is a debut.
Right. But yeah, those other two guys you mentioned, Patty and Chris Curtis, both very, very respectable options. I love me some action, man. Chris Curtis, I thought personally was the most deserving guy on the regional scene in the States of a UFC contract. Finally gets it on short notice after he was 4-0 already in 2021. Before that, he's fought at 3 different weight classes this year. And yeah, he came in and fucking upset Phil Hawes. Like, yeah, that's a hell of a fucking win.
and followed
hell of
it
a
up
story.
with another insane finish. But
yeah,
he honestly, like, Chris Curtis can basically go into almost every category.
He really can.
Of the fight awards. But we'll get to all that, and he'll probably just be honorably mentioned over and over.
For sure. You love to see a guy like that, like, get his due, though. You know what I mean? Like a guy who's
definitely
put in so much work, and he puts in a lot of work coaching and, kind of teaching younger fighters just how to be a pro and how to be a professional fighter. And, for a guy who retired twice in one night a few years ago to now, get on that grind and win 6 fights in a calendar year is pretty goddamn impressive.
I would say so. I couldn't do it.
You don't say. I don't think I could either, as a matter of fact.
I couldn't do it.
Shit.
All right, but there's the debut of the year awards.
Yeah.
Congrats to the winners.
Congratulations.
Like
Congratulations.
Look out for that tweet tomorrow. You'll be holding the mushy.
Absolutely. But yeah, so I guess our official winners, I guess for me, Michael Chandler, Big Tuna, and Clarissa Shields. Those are my official winners.
Yeah, I think we're consensus on those. And that's not appealing to listen to, just 2 guys agreeing.
That's true. That's true. People do want to hear arguments.
But I got no arguments there.
No. I mean, a lot of these I feel like, not that there's consensus, but we kind of see over and over, like, everybody, a lot of people do these kind of awards. We see who's winning and shit like that. But like, I don't know, there's certain shit that was just like objectively incredible. You know what I mean? And it's like, of course everyone's going to have that. But
wait, real quick.
Oh, do shit.
Yuri didn't debut. Was that 2 years ago already?
2020, man. Volk, the Volk fight. I thought about that too, because it all fucking blends together. Because
like I said,
a fucking simulation of hell.
The last 2
time
years
hasn't
have
passed.
Been 1 year.
Yeah. Time just literally has not passed in 2 years. So dope.
All
right, though. From there, let's take it. Let's take it to sub of the year.
Go with that.
Yeah, the beauty of this being our show is we're in charge of the order. So if you got a problem with it, you can fucking, I don't know, get on Twitter, tweet us, BB Harry Mac, at Ross Bullet, at Bookie Spaceman. Fucking don't complain too much though, because I'll probably just mute you and you can yell into the void.
I mean, also, like, if you thought we had an order going into this, you just clearly don't know how you're so.
That's true. There's a general outline of which we are picking our spots and bouncing around.
We decided on debut of the year 30 seconds before we started. So
that's right.
Let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely. So sub of the year, I think there's a lot of good choices. The 5 that came to mind for me when I was going through and just kind of whittling everything down. You had AJ Pitbull, just because of, like, circumstance, all of that. Like, AJ's the young golden boy prospect coming in against Pitbull, who's been the face of the promotion for God knows how many years. Kind of a passing of the guard, crowning achievement. Even if I'm still not sure Pitbull actually went out, but whatever. I included Shaman Moraes on Jesse Stern because I don't know what it is, but I fucking love that Kimura. It is just so visually appealing. He hits the perfect hip sweep, fucking rolls him right over, steps over the head, like 8 seconds flat, over. Your arm is mine.
I mean, it was nasty, and like I said, for this one, I stick more UFC mind personally. I know you love going into all the
More
different
than fair.
promotions, but like for me personally, I know we have 3 others on the list, but there's a couple others we'll mention as well.
It's definitely like a which one of these is not like the other one situation.
Yeah,
Hand
exactly.
up. It's personal preference. It's the
That's
sub
fair.
that I enjoyed watching the most.
That's totally fair. I mean, no.
But yeah, totally, absolutely a fair critique. And then we got Moreno and Figgy. You know, circumstance that stunning upset after the first fight. Figgy kind of felt untouchable at flyweight for a little bit there, even with the trouble making the weight. And you know, Moreno just like an all-time comeback story. He cut from the UFC, fucking crowned as a champion a couple years later. Like that's awesome.
And if we had an award for, I'll just parlay it with this reaction of the year when he won. Just
awesome.
him standing up. First off, it was just insane watching it because everyone's watching and it's just like, all right, he's got the back, but like, all right, now he's under the chin. All right, yeah, this is over. like that was it. It was like
there was not a lot of resistance.
It just sunk in and it was done. But the way he just took it all in after, you just gotta love that guy.
You literally like saw him processing it. You saw it all like wash over him. Like what a cool moment.
It was sick. Totally sick.
Absolutely. I think you know, I don't think it was like the most impressive like sub by any means technically or anything like that, but I guess you kind of have to include Peña Nunez, right? Like probably the greatest woman of all time getting it. Right. It's more so like circumstance. Exactly. Yeah. Like, is there anything that impressive about like an RNC where you don't even really have the hooks in? No, not really. Like Amanda did not really put up a lot of resistance at all, but
the opponent matters.
Absolutely. You beat a woman who's looked untouchable for. Amanda hasn't looked that bad since she was in Strikeforce. So
it was just weird.
Yeah, and again, I don't say that to like take anything away from Peña. Like incredible performance, incredible underdog upset, but
it's the same thing as another submission that I think should be on the list is Glover and Jan. Just like no one would think that at the end of 2021, Glover Teixeira is your light heavyweight championship. I can't even speak right now. Whatever.
No, you know I did not have that on my 2021 bingo card. 43-year-old Glover Teixeira acquiring UFC gold.
And there was a similar situation. Jan he looked off and he kind of just sunk it in and that was it, flattened them out and got it. But it's the same thing. In my opinion, it's the same thing as obviously Peña was more of an underdog, but it's the same shit.
Right.
Both similar submissions and just huge moments when
not the flashiest, not like the most incredible. Right. No, I can definitely take that. But I think the winner for me, man, is Anthony Hernandez on Rodolfo Vieira, old Fluffy. We're talking about circumstance and all that shit a lot. When you take in the circumstance of who those guys are and what was going on in that fight, I mean, I think Hernandez was like a plus 350 dog outright to begin with. But I mean, Rodolfo is one of the most credentialed jiu-jitsu guys, not just on the UFC roster, like on earth pretty much.
Yeah.
He is a world-class, incredible jiu-jitsu practitioner. And for him to just get caught in a fucking arm in Gilly after, yes, he gassed out. Of course, Hernandez kind of took a fucking beating and then just started to put it on him. But that sub was the most shocking to me. You know, that was like the one that made me go, holy shit, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, and I like circumstances. It's the same. I mean, all the other ones we mentioned, a lot of them were fucking just holy shit that just happened. But for me, I'm going to give it to Moreno just because I love the dude and just because of that. Honestly, his reaction is part of my reasoning. Just watching a guy that like just in awe that he
that jacked up,
like that he just did what he's been trying to do his entire life with all the ups and downs. He's gonna get it for me. But I did want to mention one that it's not technically a submission, but I think I would have had it on mine, is the Bear Jew and John Mahal Hill
Yeah,
just
yeah.
snapping his arm like a fucking dumb, just a
That shit
dummy
is burned into
dummy
my brain.
arm,
Yeah, just fucking
and
noodling around.
it wasn't considered a submission, which is bullshit because I had Paul Craig by sub, but that was just so insane, so impressive. Another one that if it was a submission, I think that's where I would have gone.
Fair, very fair. Honorable mention for me, the Monkey King, Jordan Levitt, inverted triangle. There you go. Had to do it. But yes, our winners are Anthony Hernandez and Brandon Moreno. Congratulations on the mushies.
Congrats. I'll send you a mushy Lego.
That's right. All right. So the logical next step from sub of the year would be knockout of the year, right?
Yeah.
I got that right?
There it is. Yeah, definitely. I couldn't find it for a second, but yeah.
All right. So I don't know. There were, there was no shortage of incredible knockouts this year, like at all. I think this might be the first like overall category where a non-UFC fight wins for me.
Not for me personally, but we'll get to that. There's actually one that we don't have written down here that's going to win for me. But
okay,
I'll let you start it off.
Fair enough. So yeah, there were obviously incredible knockouts all over the place. I mean, I think you have to mention Rose and Whaley the first time around. The fucking head kick heard around the world, like absolutely stunning knockout. Let's see, you had Emily Ducati and Taylor. That was an Invicta fight where I'm not sure if you've seen that one, Ross, but basically she catches her with the hook over the top. Chick goes out and then as she's like slumping over, she gets caught with Ducati catches her with the high kick.
Yeah,
incredible fight, incredible.
Yeah, I mean that was just so like someone knocked out standing to someone just dead.
Yeah,
that's basically how that went. She was out and then she just went dead.
Yeah, no, night. And then for me, I'm sure I'm biased. I was in attendance. It was an incredible moment. But Ray Cooper avenging the loss against Magomed Karimov wins $1 million. Fucking chins a guy who's never been knocked out in his career. Like that knockout took the fucking air out of that building. Like that was just a nutty. Like what did you just witness? And yeah, pretty cool it's very funny to me that Ray Cooper is quietly going to become one of the wealthiest men to ever compete in MMA.
Yeah, I mean, how long has he been around now?
I mean, he's won 2 of those PFL titles. He's been with them for a few years now.
I just feel like he's been around for so long.
4 or 5 years. He's been around forever. But yeah, exactly. I mean, he's just been quietly raking it in over there. And like even the fights. That final fight for PFL, like the $1 million fight, if you lose, you're still walking away with $250,000, which is not bad, not bad by any means.
Not bad at all.
And then my runner-up, my official runner-up UFC fight, it's Yuri. It's Yuri and Dom Reyes.
Yeah,
that's fucking. It's tough to top a spinning back elbow, man. And the face plant, just the totality of it, the combo, the follow through, just. Beautiful.
It was sick. And that's like honestly, when we started this, that was going to be my winner. But I got to give it to, there's something about a flying knee that just really gets me going. And I got to give it to Sandy.
I don't hate it at all.
Flying knee on Frankie. It was just so clean. And this just slowly fucking went to the ground out cold.
Dude, Frankie said he woke up in the hospital and had no idea the fight happened.
That shit was fucking crazy.
Yeah. No, I can't fault that one.
And like I said, I mean, flying knees, you see people are trying them all the time now, but when you land one like that, you just put a dude out.
The one-hitter quitter,
it's just so
tough to top. That's tough to top.
That's got to be my winner there. But honorable mention just because of just how big of a moment it was and how big for him it was. Francis over Stipe, the new angle of it just came out too. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter, but there's a new angle of it. And the way fucking Stipe's legs just fold. And he just turns into like a
scorpion.
Table. Scorpion. It's a good way to put it. Like, that was also just an awesome knockout. Probably not knockout of the year, but just another good one.
Fair. And
There's
dude,
so
the
many good ones. I'm
craziest.
sure we're missing a bunch.
Exactly. That you can you can reach into a
Can't hit 'em
handful
all.
and pick out a knockout of the year candidate. But I think the craziest part of that Stipe Francis exchange is that Stipe catches Francis with a clean left hook on the entry during that exchange.
Wild, like slightly wild.
Bro, he caught him right on the chin, and Francis just ate it. Just fucking ate it.
I think that's why when Francis, I mean, it's not like you haven't seen him do it before, but when Stipe went down, Francis did, like, he was out, and it would have been over. But Francis, I think he was still like, you know what? I'm a little hurt. I'm throwing a hammer fist.
Right.
And then he just put his head like through the canvas.
Yeah. Good night.
Through the canvas.
Jesus, yeah. But my winner is going to be the most recent Bellator bantamweight title fight, Sergio Pettis and Kyoji Horiguchi, man. I mean, what a fucking knockout. What a fucking moment. Like,
insane.
Sergio getting, like, not just beat, Sergio getting dominated for 3 rounds by, like, I mean, Kyoji just kind of having his way. And then I've seen a lot of people call that a fluke knockout. I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit, man. Like, he was setting that shit up. Like, he was setting it up earlier in the fight. He was talking to Duke about it. We've seen videos of him drilling the exact combo in the gym where you throw that high kick as more of a cover than anything else, and then bang, you follow up with the fucking back fist right behind it. And Kyoji just didn't put his hands up on the break, and bang, fucking out cold.
Yeah, it was sick. And another upset, which I bet, what was the line there? I think it was like plus 145-ish.
No, I think it was a little high. I think he closed at like 185.
Okay, you might be right. I remember I took him just thinking to myself, like,
I think the money came in late on Kyoji.
It makes sense. But
yeah,
that was a fun fight. Awesome knockout. Definitely worthy. But yeah, like I said, I think all my awards are gonna be staying in Uncle Dana's league.
Very fair.
But
very fair. But that was just the one for me. Like, when you look at like a Pettis brother doing awesome spinny knockout shit, is that's always gonna hit your heartstrings. You know what I mean? That's gonna touch the nostalgia a little bit, and like it made me very happy to see Sergio have that moment. You know what I mean? Like, always always in Big Brother's shadow, kind of. You know, he had his run in the UFC. Like, didn't even really do poorly. He has a win over Brandon Moreno. Like, obviously, very different times, but
yeah, a lot of people do, believe it or not. It's just crazy, which is just crazy.
You're not wrong, but yeah, it's nice to see Sergio have that moment, have that success, and something tells me they're probably. I mean, they would be insane to not run that one back in that GP that they have coming up next year. So hopefully we get to see that fight again. Because listen, I love Horiguchi, man. Like, I was on the Gooch, man. Like, I
felt like the only reason I took Pettis is just because everyone was taking Horiguchi.
Right, but I mean, like, you can't look like it's my knockout of the year. It was fucking incredible. But I will not sit here and say that I had the wrong read by betting Kyoji in that fight. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes
I wouldn't say it either.
Right. I think MMA more than any other sport is where, like, you can have the read right and still fucking lose.
100%.
Like, yeah, there's the variance is just so much higher. But I guess the natural segue, look at me doing big broadcaster things. The natural segue from Sergio Kyoji would be comeback of the year, no?
I think, that's in that category.
It's got to be. It's absolutely got to be. And it didn't win comeback of the year for me, which I guess is kind of silly when you think about it. But I don't know. I guess you could very easily give it to that fight. I wouldn't be mad. You could very easily give it to Charlie Olives against Michael Chandler. I wouldn't be mad. There's a lot of fighters you could give that to. But for me, man,
I think we're in lockstep here.
You know who it is. It's the machine, baby. It's Merab. The hardest working man on Long Island. Fucking goes out, basically gets knocked unconscious 3 times in the first, like, 2.5 minutes of the fight. It's 27. It's 27-3 in significant strikes, and then Merab just finds a second win. He finds life again, and he throws and lands 117 unanswered strikes. And just comes back and mollywops Marlon. Almost finishes at the end of the first round, comes out in the second round, more of the same, gets him to the ground, heavy fucking ground and pound, and gets Marlon up out of there. I mean, what a fucking moment for Merab. For a guy who gets a lot of shit for being, he's very wrestling dominant. People call him a decision machine, whatever. Like, the guy is fucking dominant. And to now have that kind of signature finish, that signature comeback, it's only big things for Merab in 2022, baby.
Yeah, that fight was just like totally fucking absurd.
Insane.
I mean, like sitting there watching it, it was just like, oh fuck, they're gonna stop it, and they just, I forget, I can't, was it Goddard?
I think so,
Or
yeah.
it might have been Keith Peterson, I forget. It was one of those two. They just were letting them go, and a flip switched, and it just became a
flip
fight.
A flip switched.
I told you I can't speak. a switch flipped. And yeah, it was just kind of totally Marab's fight after that. I mean, like you said, 117 consecutive. They could have stopped it probably at 85, 90.
Yep.
But they gave Marab the benefit of the doubt, so I don't hate that reffing.
No, I mean,
but
look,
yeah,
it was a well-reffed fight, clearly, because I think a lot of refs stopped that fight probably the second time Marab gets flash KO'd. The second time Marab hits the ground, I think a lot of guys probably step in there.
I mean, if it wasn't Marab, I might have been sitting there saying, like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop the fight. but he was still defending. He was still scrambling. He was trying to run around.
Fucking crazy, dude.
And he got his fucking wits about him and had, without a doubt, the comeback of the year. There is two probably like a little under the radar ones that I wanted to at least talk about. Could have given it to them, but
do share.
Kennedy, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name.
Nchekwu,
or
you know who we're talking about.
Yeah, his fight against Carlos Olberg. He was just the first round getting totally dominated. Olberg started gassing a little at the end of one. He was surviving. Yeah. Comes in the second round and just took I think I remember right. He was losing like the first minute of it still, and then it was just on. There was
like one There was like one shot that he clipped him with, and the fight just turned on a fucking dime.
And even that knockout was pretty sweet. I mean, he just bopped him, and he just shrunk to the ground.
Yeah, fucking.
So that was a fun one. And then the other one I wanted to talk about, just because for some reason I'm a big Grant Dawson guy, but that buzzer beater knockout he had, he was almost definitely going to lose the decision. And with 1 second left or I guess with like 6 seconds left, he started just guys grabbing onto his leg. He just started throwing hammer fists, put him out cold with his second left.
Whatever works.
I mean, the fight itself wasn't that impressive, which is why whatever. But that finish with 1 second left as a buzzer beater, just little hammer fist. It didn't even look like anything crazy was happening. And next thing you know, he was out. So,
yeah, there you go. I can't hate it. The other two that I wanted to mention, both outside of the UFC, but Jordan Young and Omari Akhmedov. First of all, obviously fucking horrible. Like, rest in peace to Jordan Young. What a awful story. But yeah, Jordan Young comes in as like a plus 800 underdog, fighting Omari Akhmedov. First fight outside the UFC, a guy who's been around forever. Very, very well respected guy. And I mean, Jordan got the break speed off him for the first 2 rounds, and then kind of similar to the Kennedy fight, something just kind of Omari really started to gas out. Something kind of flipped, and Jordan opened up the hands, and then that fucking uppercut, that finishing sequence, man, was just gnarly. So I definitely think that's in the conversation for me. And the other one would be also on that Sergio and Kyoji card, Spike Carlisle. And over Moret there, dude. Spike just getting the shit kicked out of him for like 13 minutes, and then just miraculously gets the back and sinks in the RNC. He did the old Homer Simpson, hit me until you just absolutely have zero energy left, and then it's all me.
And it worked.
It did.
I just feel like there's something about a fight when, like, the last few examples we all talked about, it happened in each one of them, where even if you're a little hurt or you're tired, as soon as you see the guy that's been beating you up for 8 minutes of the first 2 rounds or whatever it might be, and you see it in their eyes that, like, they're like, shit, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
If you have that killer instinct, you see these fucking comebacks, and they happen often. Like I said, we're going to miss out on some. There's impossible to name every single great comeback or knockout or submission, but if there's fighters that have that instinct where they just realize, I can put this guy out of here right now, and if I don't, I'm probably going to lose this fight.
Yeah.
And you just love seeing that, because my least favorite thing is when a guy's losing and it's this end of this middle of the 3rd round, and You know
They're
what?
just kind of rolling over.
I'm just gonna stick with what I've been doing for the first 12 minutes.
Works
I'd rather
great.
see go out on your shield. Fuck it.
There you go.
So I respect all of those comebacks for sure.
There you go. All right, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's go for our funniest fight of the year. There's no extenuating circumstances here. This is the fight that made me laugh the most. So I wound up with three. I want to hear what you think. But the first one was one that we were on stream for, both just laughing. It might have just been that like we were really stoned or something, but we were just laughing for 15 minutes of the fight, and it was our girl Montserrat Ruiz Conejo against Cheyenne Then Buys, now Belisma.
She's like a missing, but she's not.
I don't know, dude. I didn't realize it was actually. Is it actually Roman Delide that she's? I don't know.
No, it wasn't. No, that's not who it was.
That was fake. Okay, I thought that was fake. That would be very funny, but what are you going to do?
I'm pretty sure JP said the dude's name. It wasn't.
Oh, he said it was Roman. That's what I'm saying. He said the name he said was Roman. So people were like, oh my God, is she fucking Roman Delide? Imagine being like a UFC fighter and it's like, well, no matter who my ex-girlfriend starts dating now, like I'll be able to beat the shit out of them, but like you're a UFC bantamweight and they're a UFC middleweight.
It's also hilarious. I'm just typed it in, and the second thing that came up is
divorce.
UFC Cheyenne Velismus responds to JP Buys. Sign the divorce papers and stop taking my money.
Bro, they are
love public divorce.
They are being so divorced in public on the timeline that like JP, brother, you got to be a little less divorced on the timeline. I get it. It's tough. I know.
It's sad to. It's just
tough,
makes you look.
It's not helping anybody. It's not good for nobody. Don't talk about your divorce with reporters, dude.
Harry, if I'm ever getting a divorce, just make sure I don't decide to start tweeting about it.
Yeah, make sure if I'm ever getting a divorce, I do not do a fucking Twitter thread about it. I do not do an interview about it. And I saw people complaining about like, oh, why are media people asking him about this? It's like, dude, let's be fucking honest here for a minute. Like, there is not a more compelling fighting story surrounding JP Buys than him getting divorced with his fighter wife. There's just not. There's nothing more interesting about him than him being very publicly divorced. I'm sorry, JP. I guess we're never gonna have you on the show. That's fine. But just tone down the divorce levels a little bit.
Cheyenne, we will have you though. Especially if you're staying on it. Come on.
You're always welcome, Cheyenne. Our doors are always open. But yes, unfortunately, that's a tough riff. Unfortunately for Cheyenne, she just got scarf holded for 15 minutes of fighting. She got pressed up into the cage.
The hip tosses were
amazing. That little judo toss with the scarf hold, right into that little fucking side saddle position with the scarf, and then just like throwing rabbit punches at her. Like the not soft, not hard punches, not like damaging punches, just like the most annoying little rabbit punches right in the forehead you've ever seen in your fucking life.
It was so funny.
And then I mean
that's my clear winner.
The cherry on top is Cheyenne coming out after getting scarf holded for 15 minutes and saying, "I'll follow you home, bitch. I'll beat your ass."
Yeah,
what?
Just the whole thing. The whole thing. It was like a fucking. I mean, I was cracking up the entire fight. It was just no, Cheyenne, no, back to fucking the ground.
Yep, nothing she could do about it. Not an answer in the world. Oh, and we're going full circle here, but I'm pretty sure that was the time when her and JP were in each other's corners for their fights, and they both lost on the same card, and we called it the divorce parlay.
Yeah, the divorce parlay. I think you're right. I think you're definitely right.
I think.
I don't remember if JP fought that night, but I think he didn't. They fight on.
I'm pretty sure.
No. Yeah,
they fought on a UFC card together for sure, where they both lost.
Yeah. Nothing like cashing off divorces.
Right. Listen, I don't remember important things, but I will never forget something that fucking funny. No chance.
No, that was great.
The other ones I had, Jorgen De Castro's debut at CES was both the worst and funniest fight I've ever seen in my entire life. Just awful. Really bad.
Slop fest.
Absolute slop. Absolute heavyweight slop. I mean, like Jorgen at one point just like caught a kick and just kind of threw his opponent to the ground and then just like literally laid down on him, like just like slowly lowered himself to the ground and laid down on him. So that was funny. That gave me a good laugh. Not as good a laugh as Conejo did. And the other fight that I don't think you watched, it was part of the Ryzen New Year's Eve show that I made it most of the way through, not all the way through, most of the way through. But Shrek and Shoma. I'm gonna have to put some of the audio in the episode here, but Shrek is like a 55-year-old Japanese man, and he was in there in an MMA fight, and he was just making some of the worst sounding noises you have ever heard in your entire life. It sounded like somebody had like was applying pressure to like a possum's throat or something like that. Like every time he tried to breathe, it was just like and then after the fight, he wins, like miraculous fucking knockout, very, very funny. And he gets up and he just yells like a guttural, like gets down to his knees and just one of the funniest things I have ever seen in combat sports.
この大晦日埼玉スーパーアリーナのリング1ラウンド立って叫んでいる柔術怪獣が吠えている全部使い果たしましたねいや本当に勝俣さん、体に入っているもの中にあるものすべて出しましたね2ラウンドはもう本当体力残ってなかったと思いますよ決めました関根シュレック秀樹です素晴らしいね伝説できましたねシュレックワールド
Shrek, absolute legend. Long live, long may he reign. But I think those were my funniest fights of the year, which, by the way, is a distinctly different category from freak fights of the year.
100%.
Very different. Very different.
100%.
Freak fights might make me laugh, but they are freak fights. They were designed as freak fights. Those are just funny fights. Those are real fights that happen to be really funny.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to be.
Right. Although I guess you can probably call Shrek as a 55-year-old man fighting a freak fight. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, he's literally like a 55-year-old Japanese ogre. Like that's how I would describe him.
Well, that's a freak fight. But oh yeah, that I know what fight you're talking about. Yeah, that
I'm sure you saw the clip.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
But my freak fight, I didn't hear. Well, no, it sounded like Conejo Bites is also your funniest fight of the year.
Yeah, I don't even have to say anything else.
Fair, very fair. But I guess rolling right along, freak fight of the year. You know, this is where I shine. This is my favorite. I love the weird shit. Give me all of it. I mean, there were some strong contestants. Fight Circus doing the phone booth fight, as well as like some. They did a 3-on-1 fight. This can be. You know what? Let's call this the Fight Circus Freak Fight of the Year award. I'm okay with that.
I think that's fair.
The Fight Circus Freak Fight of the Year award. So the Fight Circus phone booth fight. It's on the list, but it didn't top things for me. Puds Bombardier. That is up there for me. Yeah, that one you might have seen, Ross.
I did.
Yeah, legendary Polish strongman. Oh God, I can't pronounce his first name. Maurice Pudzanowski. Puds. His name is Puds. I don't really fucking care. His name is Puds.
Just Puds.
Yeah, fighting Senegalese wrestler, like 350-pound man, Bombardier, and Bombardier came out and tried to throw one punch and got chinned immediately.
Yeah, it was pretty anticlimactic, but
immediately got chinned. But there was like 900 pounds of dude in the cage. That's always fun.
It's a whole lot of dude.
A whole lot of dude. We mentioned Shrek and Shoma. That gets a list for me. I was gonna put Shibatar on this list, but it turns out that fight was fixed. So I will not sully my good awards with a fixed Yakuza Japanese fixed fight. I won't do it.
That fight couldn't have been more clearly fixed.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, if we're just being honest.
Yes. True. But I am still, without the evidence of it being fixed, I can still pretend. I can still do kayfabe. You know what I mean? Like I can still be like, no, that rules. But once you're reading text between two guys, like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. It's like, well, man, fuck you.
Yeah. Thanks for wasting my time.
Right. I don't want to see how the sausage gets made. I just want the sausage, dude.
That's fair. I like sauce.
But I think is it wrong to not give the Fight Circus Freak Fight of the Year to a Fight Circus fight?
I just think we should just give it to Fight Circus.
Okay, that's fair. They get it as a promotion. But my favorite Freak Fight of the Year was a promotion called The War in Poland. They did a 5-on-5 fight, but they only had 3 referees for this 5-on-5 fight. So at one point, there was a guy who got knocked out and by my count got punched in the face, like unconscious. He's on the ground getting just bopped into the face 13 times, just out cold before a ref like looking around was like, I should do something about that.
Yeah, we should stop that.
Somebody should probably do something about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like how someone dies. But like, hey, freak fight.
Listen.
Whatever happens.
Right. Those guys, they signed the contracts. They know what they're getting into. They might not have the best management. They might not have the best promoters.
You're just a fucked up viewer.
Right, exactly. I have brain damage. I know that.
For the record, everyone out there listening, I don't sit home and watch these freak fights.
Ross has better things to do with his time.
I'm just out,
not me though,
doing other dumb shit. But hey, I can't judge you for it.
Right? Don't yuck my yum.
So who's your? So that's the 5-on-5 is the winner.
I think it has to be. That was the one to me that was just the most like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
what's going on here?
What is this freak show?
Right, exactly. That because I mean, maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's also that Fight Circus, like the bar gets raised a little bit because that's the whole shtick, like that's the whole thing. But this promotion tries to do like normal fights, and then this will also just be mixed in.
I just thought of one that I guess I should have said during funniest. But
Okay.
I'm still not gonna retract. But Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz was fucking hilarious.
Oh fuck, that's a really good one. That's really good one, dude.
And like honestly, it probably should win.
That is a really fucking good one. That was one of the. I mean, the whole.
You could also call it a freak fight. I mean,
easily.
Yeah, that's a freak fight as well.
But I think that was the funniest combat sports broadcast I have ever watched.
It has to be up there. I mean, just the most ridiculous.
It probably doesn't hurt that I ate some mushroom chocolate beforehand.
I mean, that's definitely a freak fight.
Dude,
with a side of something else.
I'm gonna put the clip. I'm gonna put the clip in the video here in the podcast. But when they did, when Trump, first of all, the fact that Trump was fucking broadcasting it was like the funniest thing in the world. Just unbelievably funny. They cut to him so many times where like they would cut away and he would just keep talking for the whole time that they would cut away, and they would just jump back in and he would just be like mid-sentence. Incredible. But when they did. It was on 9/11, first of all. So the worst thing that's ever happened on 9/11.
What just goes into like how ridiculous.
Right. They did that moment of silence with the 10 ringing the bells. So you hear what they do. All right, we're gonna ring the boxing bell 10 times, and we're gonna do a moment of silence for 9/11. And they do ding ding ding, and then it's silent for like 1 second set of dings. Then ding 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 again, and you hear some lady. She starts yelling. I don't even know what she's yelling about. She's yelling something about this country is becoming Venezuela. All right. And then ding, ding, ding again. And then you hear the lady still yelling, and you just hear some guy as loud as he can, hey, shut the fuck up, bitch! During the fucking 9/11 moment of silence, and I was in tears. It was one of the funniest things I've ever fucking
I wouldn't expect anything else at that event.
No, like at the Hard Rock in Florida, like just like one of those moments where you're just sitting there and you're watching it and you're just like, how is any of this real?
We will honor the memory of all those who lost their lives on that horrible day in American history. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain silent as we toll a memorial count of 10. May they rest in peace and never be forgotten.
We have a former president sitting on the broadcast right now while they're like trying to do a moment of silence and people are yelling and he's trying to shut the fuck up. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, it just hit me, and I was like, you know what, I can't.
Great call.
You can't not mention that.
No, that is a fantastic call.
But I think that can close out our talking about freak and funny fights.
Sure.
It might turn into a freaky podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So I had Ross, who would you say was your robbery of the year? What was the worst decision of the year for you?
Like, to be honest, it's so tough because I know there's something I'm forgetting where I watched or bet, and I was like, I wish I wrote these down when they happened. But off like the top of my head, I think I give it to the Sandhagen TJ fight. Just because there was so much on the I mean, I guess it didn't matter in the long run. Dana did the right thing, and TJ did get. I mean, not TJ. Corey did wind up getting the interim shot. But title contender fight like that, where these judges, you see it so often.
No, that's a good answer. I mean, if you go back and rewatch that fight, like, there's no way to score it for TJ.
And I was on TJ. I had TJ the last leg to win a nice fucking 6-legger, and it was sweet. But
and I guess there were some close rounds, of course. Like, I'm not going to deny that. But
that's the other thing. It's like
a TJ fight. It was Corey's fight, clearly.
Like, watching it, I was just like, all right, yeah, he won this round. All right, yeah, I think I forget exactly, but I think it was 1, 3, 4, and 5 that were pretty clearly his.
Yeah, I think I remember scoring 1, 4, 5 for Corey. I think I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I forget. I
think that was my score.
But yeah, just when you're, and especially the year he had, getting that TJ comeback fight, huge spot for him, and he delivered. And you just hate seeing guys fucking either lose out on a bonus or anything like that over a decision. He wound up, like I said, getting the shot against Peter or Cheater. Jan, but and that was a fucking arguably
another banger,
arguably the fight of the year. So
I mean, we were talking about before we came on here. There's an argument for Corey. There is a legitimate argument for Corey as fighter of the year with 2 losses.
I 100% agree.
Like, I'm not gonna make it. That's not my pick. But I will not sit here and throw stones at anybody who wants to who there's a very strong argument to be made, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. I also love the dude. I mean, I would like to see him in Aljo after Aljo takes that belt or unifies the belt.
On that back,
run it back. I'm sure the Jan.
I think the run Corey went on after the Aljo fight just really made that win look all that much better.
Agreed. I think that was an unbelievable win.
Dominant.
But I would definitely like to see them fight again.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. It's always, whenever you get a quick finish like that, I feel like it's very easy to, you always want to kind of see how it plays out in a fucking slobber knocker too. You know what I mean? But, obviously you can't take anything away from Aljo. That was a dominant win. But for me, yes, definitely not. I mean, I guess, I don't know, not the same level of stakes for sure. But PFL regular season, Gleison Tebow and Rory McDonald. One of the worst decisions I have ever seen.
Yeah, that was bad.
I'm just saying the circumstances because Rory almost didn't wind up making their playoffs because of that decision. If he didn't come out and get a first round finish, whatever it was, against Melender, he wouldn't have made the playoffs, which would have been fucking criminal to lose out on a chance at $1 million because that was, you watched that fight.
We also already talked about how Pettis and Verdum weren't in it.
Right.
Imagine Rory not being in that also. It's all of their big
acquisitions.
Biggest names outside of Kayla.
Yeah.
And I guess Clarissa, if you want to put her in there.
Right. And Clarissa wasn't even in the tournament. She's just doing one-offs. But that for me was that was one of the worst decisions I have seen in some time. I remember a judge coming out and giving 30-27, and I was like, all right, well, I didn't really have it 30-27 necessarily for Rory, but there's no other, it physically cannot be 30-27 Tebow. So there's no way. And lo and behold, there it is, man.
There was another one, and this is whatever. I can't remember the fight, but I remember there was one fight There was a bunch of fights, but there was one this year where it was recent. Someone got a 30-27 and lost the other 2 scorecards, and it was just like, wait,
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was now,
Fuck.
but
I feel like I definitely know what you're talking about, but it's not popping into my head either. Or I feel like there was a fight where we had a 30-27 on both
it was
sides.
Adrian. No, it was Adrian.
Right. Yes.
First 30 grand.
Right.
Like that was almost fucked up.
Yeah.
But that wasn't. So,
There you go.
So it's not in the category.
Nope. Yeah, the almost robberies of the year. And my other one, it's just as important as all of the rest of these fights, just as prominent, just as big. Steve Lee, Eric Gonzalez, Ring of Combat in fucking Long Island Amphitheater. Terrible decision. Same thing. Most clear round of the fight. Round 2 for Steve Lee. They come out 30-27. I'm sitting there. All right, well, there's no possible way the other guy won all 3 rounds. So that's 30-27 for Steve. Bang. Fucking unanimous loss. Horrible decision. Shameful New York State Athletic Commission. You should be sick.
I'll always back Steve Lee. So
that's right. Steve Lee making his pro debut in a couple of weeks.
Also, I think I want to change my answer, and it wasn't even 2021. But just because I'm still so mad about it, I'm just gonna do Dan Ige versus Edson Barboza, and it's just gonna be a bit that every year that's my worst decision.
I'm with that. I was fucking mad. I was mad. That was a terrible decision.
I'm still mad about it.
You got Felder on the fucking broadcast talking about how like, all right, well, Edson's kind of coasting in this 3rd round, but he can kind of do that because he has 2 rounds in the bank. Guess not. PU.
Awful.
PU.
So who did you give it to?
My official robbery of the year is going to be T-Bow and Rory.
All right,
that was a tough one.
I'm going to stick with Cody, or Corey. I can't.
Cody.
My brain's fucking mashed.
Hell yeah.
Corey, but with an asterisk, it's just every year. It's still Edson Barboza versus Dan Ige.
Right. Correct. Absolutely correct. All right, well, Russ, leaves.
Right before you start right here, I gotta get my charger.
Fair. I'm gonna go take a piss then. All right, well, Russ, that really only leaves one big award, huh?
I think that's it. And this was honestly definitely the hardest one for me.
Tough, very tough, very tough. But yeah, the obvious outlier here that we have not touched on yet, fighter of the year. I think. I split them up, male and men and women, because I don't know. That just felt like an easy thing to do. It feels kind of, I don't know. I feel like
I think
it just doesn't stack up. It doesn't. It's different. Same but different.
Same, but still different.
That's right. But so for me, I think the winner, when you look at everything at the end of the day, you look at competition, you look at the road to get there. Just everything in totality, it's Chucky Olives, man. It's Chucky Olives coming in, beating Michael Chandler in like incredible comeback fashion, like getting hurt, comes back, fucking chins Michael Chandler, which insanely enough, Justin Gaethje couldn't do, but that might just be more a reflection on how Chandler's body tends to just randomly fail him every 3 or 4 fights. But
yeah, exactly.
But comes in, wins the title against Michael Chandler. A lot of people said, well, that probably should have been Dustin's shot. Dustin chose the red panty night with Conor, which fair enough. That's a fair critique. Dustin was probably, after like Gaethje had lost to Khabib already, Dustin was the number 1 contender. They run the Dustin fight. Similar story. Like Charles takes a lot of damage in round 1, comes out in round 2, like is able to kind of, his striking is very clinchy, he's kind of employs a lot of Muay Thai these days, which I guess makes sense when he was recently in interviews talking about how he's basically fucking blind in the cage. He's basically me in there fighting, just not being able to see. And Dustin gives his back in a little exchange. Charles hops right on, and that's that, man. Same way he came into the UFC is the way that he wins a fucking UFC championship. It's all Chuck for me, baby.
I'm like still, as we're doing this, trying to decide. Like I think he's probably he should win. I mean, we're talking fighter of the year. This year it's just been absurd. I mean, you just named all the things he did, but it's just I'm so torn. I think it's got to be him, though. I mean, I'll go consensus on this one.
Okay. I made a good case, apparently.
Well, no, I was gonna say him. I was coming into this thinking I was gonna say him. I didn't know if I changed my mind during it. It's like Usman. It's just tough to not give it to also, but at the same time,
right? It's tough. Like, look, Usman defended 3 times, which is very, very impressive. But Masvidal, he had already beaten handily, and like I don't know. That fight just didn't really get me going. You know what I mean? Like, I think
the only reason I would say it's super impressive is just because he knocked him. The way he knocked him out.
For sure. Great fucking knockout. Like, I've seen people include that in their knockout of the year, which, like, yeah, like when we're talking about circumstance and totality, totally get it. Like, he fucking melted him. Just that little, like, stick the jab hand out, like, whole bang.
Like, going into it, it was just like, all right, like, he's just like people. Another, like, kind of like Marab, like, wrestling dominant, not a lot of finishes, like, so on. And then he came out and he starched the guy that everyone was saying before. The only way he beats him is if the only way Jorge beats Usman is if he starches him, which he might, and then he got totally slumped.
He got mobbed. The greatest trick anybody ever pulled was Jorge convincing the world that he took that fight on like 6 days' notice the first time around.
The funny part is like, yeah, that convinces people, but he still probably gets the fucking rematch. Dana.
I agree with that. I agree he would probably still get the rematch, but I just people put I saw people put a lot of stock into that, and it's like if you don't think he was in camp the whole time for the possibility of that fight falling through, like I don't really know what to tell you.
No, it's definitely.
I got a fucking bridge to sell you.
And then I really wanted to, just because he's a Philly guy and I want him to come on the podcast, but I really did, like, Sean Brady, I think, just deserves his name being mentioned at some point in this podcast.
Fair.
The year he had is quite absurd as well.
And he was very nice to us when we met him at CFMC.
Very nice dude. He's got the most Northeast accent.
He's got the drawl. Yeah.
But submitted Jake Matthews, which is not an easy thing to do. Then he just totally dominated Chiesa, what's gotten Chiesa to this point, which is his wrestling and grappling. He just dominated him. And then I know we've been including other, like, promotions and stuff like that. Went out and grappled against arguably the number 1 grappler in the world and beat Craig Jones. So, like, that's a year. I mean, that's a year that shouldn't go at least unnoticed. Like, he's not going to get the.
Honestly,
I'll get half of my award.
Honest to God, like beating Craig Jones in a fucking submission grappling match might be more impressive than the 2 UFC wins. I don't think people realize.
Proves.
Right. Like, I know submission grappling, the scoring is weird. It's not necessarily based on like top control and all of that. And a lot of Craig Jones's game is kind of based around letting you make pass guard and pass positions into a spot where he wants you. But Sean was able to do that and not fall into the traps and not get finished. So like he won. And Craig Jones is a world-class grappler. That's fucking impressive to me.
You know what? I'm going outside the box. Sean Brady is my fighter of the fucking year. I'm sticking with Philly.
Fair enough.
It's an answer that you're not going to hear from probably anyone else because maybe it's not the most accurate, but what he did is just as impressive. It's not on the biggest level like some of these other guys that are defending and winning belts, but he had a fucking sick year, and I think at the end of next year we'll be talking about him fighting arguably in the title fight.
Yeah, I don't hate that take at all. Definitely don't hate Brady as a guy you should be buying stock in right now. But yeah, I mean, Usman obviously in the conversation. I can't I'm not really gonna fault somebody that hard for taking a welterweight champion who defends his belt 3 times. Like, knocked out Gilbert, knocked out Jorge. Like the Colby fight wasn't really as impressive, but he won the fight. So like that's an impressive year. I won't take that away. But I guess I don't know. In my book, beating Chandler and Dustin Poirier is more impressive to me. I'm willing. Like, yes, the Jorge finish was incredible, but like he had beaten him like less than a few months, like less than half a year prior.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm willing to
for sure
not put that much stock into that. And beating Chandler and Poirier is just flat out more impressive. That's better competition.
The only like knock that it's not even like fair, but the only thing that I would like critique about like the Chandler knockout is I didn't think he should have been in that fight in the first place. I know he knocked out Hooker, and there weren't many other options. Poirier took, like you said, the Conor fight.
Right.
I mean,
that's what fucked everything up.
Gaethje was just chilling there waiting. I mean, I think he got jumped. I think he deserved that title shot.
Right. I think it would have made more sense. I think it would have made more sense. I mean, I think the ideal for the UFC would have been Charles and Dustin, and then you do Gaethje Chandler then as like a number one contender.
Right, which they could have done as well. That's
I get.
I'm not like it was a sick fight. It was an unbelievable finish, especially a way that you don't see him finishing a lot of fights, but with his hands. Right. So I'm not, like I said, he definitely deserves it. He's basically who I was going to give it to, but like I said, I mean, I just wish that fight wasn't Chandler for the belt.
Very fair, very fair. Another guy I had on my little short list here, my I guess honorable mentions that I haven't really seen anybody mention, but who really impressed the fuck out of me this year. Okra Yoon over in 1, 3 fights, 3 wins. He beats He beats Murat Gafurov, former 1 champion. He beats Eddie Alvarez, who obviously is not the Eddie of old, but he's still Eddie Alvarez,
he's
right?
Eddie.
He's Eddie Alvarez. That's a big fucking name on your resume. It was a big fight. It was one of those like 4-1 on TNT cards that they did that I guess didn't do so well because we haven't gotten any more of them.
I liked it.
I liked it too. It was cool. And then
until they started fucking putting on non-live shows.
Oh yeah, that was fucked. You can't do that to me. No,
Wednesday night going on DraftKings. Let's see. Oh wait, these fights happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here?
That's a tough one. And then wins the 1 lightweight title with a unanimous decision over promotional golden boy Christian Lee, who is like, there's been talk about one kind of rigging fights in their favor before and all of that shit. So to come out and convincingly beat him, like I feel like if nothing else, he established himself as a guy to watch in the sport.
I agree. I think it's very fair, and I think it's nice of you, Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
To include him on your list.
That's right. It's very, very, very gracious of me.
It's nice of you.
Yeah, and you know what? I had Sergio Pettis on the short list too,
which I think is also more than fair.
Yeah, won that bantamweight title in convincing fashion over Archuleta. Comes out and obviously was losing the fight, but then starts Kyoji Horiguchi, who, in my opinion, is legitimately a top 10 bantamweight on planet Earth. So that's fucking impressive. Can't take that away.
Nah, you can't. And also another honorable mention. He's our guy, Adrian. Another great year he's had.
That's right.
2 unbelievable fights.
Yep.
And the fight against Davey Grant. I mean, that very well could have been in fight of the year argument. That was an absolute banger, unreal fight. Weird decision, but he won, which is all that matters.
Exactly.
But that was a fucking banger, and you can't. I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I don't know if Davey Grant's ever been put out.
Yeah.
So you can't take it away from Adrian not finishing him.
No, and you want to talk about a rising star? I think I saw somewhere Adrian's total social media followers were up like over 4,000% this year.
He's the fucking man. I mean, he interacts.
Right. Impossible dude to not like and pull for and want to succeed. Just like a nice dude, humble guy who also happens to be a world-class fucking fighter with some of the sharpest hands you have ever seen.
And I'll pander one more time to the city of Philadelphia. Obviously not in fighter of the year category, but just kind of like a breakout star that I think is going to have another monster year, and he did have a great 2021. 3 wins. First, his debut, little shit. He won the first 2, little gas in the third. Then he had a heel hook finish in his second fight. Pat Sabatini, local
Philly's finest.
15, 20 minutes away from me.
Never avenged that loss over James Gonzalez, though.
That's facts, but maybe one day in the UFC.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
But he's just another name that we went through an hour or more talking about this year. I think his name deserves to be at least mentioned.
Fair, very fair. And then we haven't even touched on the ladies' side of the bracket yet. But
I forgot. I thought we were wrapping it up.
I think this one will probably be a little bit easier. I do think that there is a clear-cut number one female fighter of the year, and it's Rose.
If you have it another way, you're just trying to be
right. You're trying to be a contrarian. You're trying to be fucking. Oh, look at me and my fucking opinions. Shut the fuck up, dude. It's Rose Namajunas with 2 wins over Zhang Weili. That is far and away the most impressive resume for any woman in the sport in 2021. You want to throw Pena an honorable mention? Sure. She beat the greatest woman of all time. She also fought once in a year. So like,
you just can't do it. I've seen people do it. I'm not gonna like.
That's a hack job.
But come on, I mean,
I would put.
I'm not taking anything away.
I'd put Marina Rodriguez. I'd put Marina Rodriguez over Pena personally.
I think that's fair too. I mean, like I said, she beat Amanda Nunes. No one thought it would happen.
Incredible. Probably
maybe the biggest upset in the sport in the sport's history.
It was the upset of the year, easily. Easily.
But yeah, I just can't give fighter of the year for it. Especially maybe if Rose lost one of those fights, maybe we'd be having a different conversation.
Absolutely.
But she didn't.
No.
She didn't.
No, and yeah, to finish one and then to just outpoint her over 25 minutes in the next fight is almost more impressive to me.
And that because that was the other thing. Everyone's like, no one called it fluke. No one's saying the word. No one was calling it fluke, but it was like, well, if she can't put her out, she's not going to beat her in 25 minutes. And she came out and she fucking did, and she looked awesome.
Right.
And she's cool gal.
Yeah, she's a fun one. Rose is a lot of fun for sure. I like anybody who uses a gun in the octagon as part of their training.
I just love when after she won, Rogan. He's like, yeah, I saw you were saying to yourself before, like, I'm the best. She's like, I'm the best.
Yeah.
It's just great. It's great.
Absolutely.
She deserved it, and she deserves the Mush Award.
Very true.
And anyone else out there that has something otherwise, I don't know.
Stop trying to get cute with it.
Watch a different sport.
Yeah, you're trying to get cutesy with it. That's not what we do around here. We're fucking salt of the earth. I see with my eyes, I hear with my ears. The other 2 honorable mentions I had for the ladies, Kayla Harrison. I know the knock is the competition that she's fighting, but I think outside of like some of the top women in the UFC, I think she is basically the only woman in at least stateside, at least in the West, who is a draw on her own outside of the UFC.
Yeah, can't knock that. Like I said, like you said, the only reason she's not fighter of the year is because of the competition.
Absolutely.
I mean, she just mauls everyone she fights, which is not. You can't. That's not her fault. You fight who's in front of you. She is a free agent, I still believe. Yeah, she hasn't signed anything yet. It sounds like, so we'll see what happens. The bloomers that I've been hearing are it sounds like she's trying to work out a co-promotion deal with PFL. So it sounds like she's trying to re-sign with PFL, but have a co-promotion deal for the Cyborg fight in Bellator with them. That'd be sweet. I mean, dude, if you're Kayla, that's kind of the best of both worlds. If we're being honest, you beat Cyborg and you win the PFL next year, you'll be Women's Fighter of the Year. Yeah, no, that is our promise to you, Miss Harrison. And she's a fucking beast. I mean, there's no like, she's a monster. This is a negative on her. Right. I mean, she's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? And like everyone used to talk about Ronda's Olympic career. Kayla is significant. Like Ronda never won gold, much less did it twice. You know what I mean? Like she is a very accomplished combat sports athlete. She would kick my ass. That's right. And like she's great on the mic too. Yeah, she is. She can cut a fucking promo. Yeah. She can cut a fucking promo. I mean, I hope we get the Cyborg fight. I do. The video of her at the Nunes fight after Amanda loses and the camera pans to her and she just lets out. You can just feel it so deep in her soul. Just fuck. Just so fucking angry. She just watched so much money just evaporate. And not that it's still. Also, she trains with her. Right. Yeah, they're pals. Of course. I'm sure she wanted her to win for a multitude of reasons. I'm sure. Yeah. But that was just a very pure moment to me. Just like a very like peek behind the curtain. Like, no, there's no question. Like, she's fucking pissed. And another just honorable mention that I mean, it's not on the same level as the other women we've mentioned, but Casey O'Neill had a fucking year.
She did, man.
She is someone to look out for.
Shit, you want to talk about like prospects and like breakout candidates of the year? Casey O'Neill's awesome, dude. She's so much fun.
3 wins, 3 finishes, which you don't see.
At flyweight is unheard of,
especially in the UFC.
Yeah.
So she deserves to be mentioned. I think she's someone that at the end of I guess this year now, she could be holding a belt or fighting for a belt.
I absolutely think we see Casey O'Neill and Shevchenko at some point in 2022.
It is a shame that she's fighting Roxy on Roxy's going away party.
I know, man. Fuck. That's so fucked up. That is such fucking mean matchmaking, dude. That's mean spirited.
And she's thinking, she's like, it's not even like she's like, yeah, like I respect her. This is gonna be so fun. It's like, now I'm coming to ruin her fucking party.
Fuck,
all right, Casey, we get it.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be. I love Roxy, dude. How do you not love Roxy?
Nah, she's just a regular.
She's the best. Right, she rules. Roxy fucking rules.
She's a legend.
Fucking pioneer of the sport, dude. But
we also could probably mention, just to throw her name in there, Danielle Kelly. I don't have exactly what she did this year, but if you're talking about women's fighters that are under the radar, she's arguably the best women's grappler and wrestler in the world. Talked about making the transition to the UFC, so
I hope we see it.
Fingers are crossed there, but she went to my high school. Got to throw her in there.
Of course, I would have. I wish that Esparza fight did not end the way it did. I also hope that does not fuck up like future opportunities for Fury grappling and all of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, the slam was a ballsy move.
Yeah. I mean, she just started leaking, and dude, Danielle had she had a golf ball on her forehead.
A full blown. Hematoma.
Yeah, as they say, little mousy mouse. But all right, I think Ross, that about wraps us up.
I think that's the Mush Awards.
That's the Mush Awards. Hit the Oscars. They're playing us off stage. They're getting the big comical hook, and they're fucking yanking us right back behind the curtain.
My screen's been flashing 30 seconds for the last 10 minutes, so I guess my speech went too long.
Dude, there's a little red dot on your forehead. What is that? Yeah. Where's that coming from?
Hopefully, no. I'm in my basement. I think I'm pretty locked down here.
But yes.
All right, though. Before we go too off the rails, that was fun.
Absolutely.
I hope all the recipients are fucking happy.
Of course.
You should be. You should be.
And yes, you should all also acknowledge your awards.
Yeah. One thank you speeches. Or even just little notes.
Yeah, a handwritten note.
Give me
a handwritten notes app.
Give me a Dan Orlovsky notes.
Yeah, why not? But yes, fucking great show, Russell. Thank you as always. Thank you guys for tuning in, for listening. We got a big year planned, man. We got some big stuff coming. We're planning on releasing episodes at least every week. We're gonna be doing some previews on top of the interviews and all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe here. Subscribe on YouTube. Fucking follow us on Twitter at BBHarryMac, at Ross Fuller, at Bookies Basement, at the Bookies_basement on Instagram. I think that's all of our plugs.
Sounds like a lot of plugs to me, so I think that's it.
More plugs than a fucking electrician, a union electrician that Michael Venom Page is fighting. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.